What if I told you the entire world is about to hang on every single word Jerome Powell says tomorrow at Jackson Hole? Last time Powell spoke there, Bitcoin crashed from 69K all the way to 17K. He kicked off the bear market. And now inflation's sticky, jobs are softening, and Trump is already breathing down his neck. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Eric Trump just said a nation state may have quietly bought 200,000 Bitcoin. That's like 22 billion cuckbucks. Without telling anyone, so think about this. While Powell dithers about whether to cut rates, sovereigns are already stacking Bitcoin in secret. That means tomorrow's question isn't just does Powell crash the markets again like he did in 2021? It's do we get the first sovereign level Bitcoin bull run in history? This is bigger than the Fed, bigger than Wall Street, and bigger than Powell. Welcome back and strap in because we have a massive show today.
And so, guys, I see that all over the world, right? I spend a lot of time in just about every country, on just about every continent. I've got projects, and I talk to people, and honestly, the race toward cryptocurrency is electric right now. I mean, it is absolutely electric. I don't care if you're talking to the top leaders of various countries where they're sitting there saying, you know, in the winter, when it's not nearly as hot, I'm going to take all the energy supply from my major city and I'm going to, dedicate it to Bitcoin mining. I really believe in that asset. Or, our country just bought, 200,000 Bitcoin and we did so very quietly. We don't want anybody to know about it, but that's how much we believe in the asset.
So let's connect the dots. If a sovereign nation just quietly stacked 200,000 Bitcoin, again, 22 billion cuckbucks worth, what does that mean for tomorrow's Jackson Hole meeting? Well, it means Powell's stuck in the ultimate trap. Because the Fed just admitted this in their minutes. A majority saw the inflation risk outweighing the employment risk. Translation, inflation scares them more than the job losses. And that's possibly why cuts aren't coming unless unemployment totally cracked. But look at this. Goldman Sachs says the September jobs revision could erase up to 950,000 jobs. That would definitely be the biggest downward revision since 2009. And if that rug pull hits, well, good old Jerome suddenly has cover to slash rates. So tomorrow, Powell has two scripts in front of him. One, stick to the inflation fight. No cuts. Door number two, blame jobs weakness and open the door to cuts. And here's why this matters for Bitcoin. Last time Powell used Jackson Hole to go tough on inflation, Bitcoin nuked from 69K to 17K. This time we're sitting above 100K with sovereign nations quietly stacking. And again, Trump is already on Powell's neck like Homer Simpson, demanding resignations inside the Fed. Markets are begging for relief. Inflation says no. Jobs revisions say maybe. Bottom line, Powell could totally tank the entire market tomorrow. But Bitcoin's already left the station. Sovereigns are stacking in the shadows. And when governments start buying Bitcoin, do you really think Powell can stop it? And it's not just the Fed. The entire macro game board is shifting. Wall Street is warning of a new era of fiscal dominance. That means government debt is so out of control, central banks will be forced to print money just to keep up with the interest payments. Even Ray Dalio has called it the debt death spiral. Translation, the money printer isn't just coming back, it's permanent. And remember, when bond markets collapse, when yields spike, where do people flee? The hardest money ever created or discovered, Bitcoin. And probably gold. But alright, enough with the Fed doom. Let's zoom out. Because again, while Powell dithers, Bitcoin is ripping. Hear me out. Bitcoin just cleared 100K on the 200-day moving average. That's historic. Every other time we crossed a major milestone. $100, $1,000, 10,000, it triggered a monster rally. Now, 100K is the new launch pad. And the bullish news just keeps on coming.
And the ease of being able to invest in it, it's never been easier. And guys, that is going to open people's minds. That's going to put trillions of dollars into the asset. And so I think, you go out a couple of years, there's no question that Bitcoin hits $1 million. There is no question in the world that we go over $1 million. And we're going to have a hell of a ride.
Grok AI is foreseeing Bitcoin to 400K in 70 days. I think Grok smells the money printer. And Eric Trump of World Liberty Financial was not alone in just recently calling for $1 million Bitcoin. It looks like that bald Lex Luthor guy, Brian Armstrong at Coinbase, who likely knows something, seeing as they're custodying for BlackRock and MicroStrategy. But he just called for $1 million Bitcoin. Check it out.
The rough idea I have in my head is like we'll see $1 million Bitcoin by 2030, and there's high error bars around these things. But just to give you a couple of data points, right? It's like we're starting to see regulatory clarity emerge in the United States, which I think is a bellwether for the rest of the G20. You have the Genius Act passed now for stablecoins, but this market structure bill is being debated in the Senate. Fingers crossed something could happen by the end of this year. That would be a huge milestone. The United States government now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So that is, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, that would have been kind of like vision board. Someone would have said, you're crazy, like the United States government's not going to officially hold Bitcoin. But if they do that, which there's now an executive order to do, I think a bunch of other countries are going to do that. We've seen a lot of interest from sovereigns, right? I think Coinbase actually provides crypto services to about 140 government entities that, believe it or not, like at both federal, state, local, and internationally. So governments are now getting more and more engaged in this. And you can imagine the big pools of capital around the world. And there's a lot of, so I don't see the regulatory thing going away. That was one of the big risks is the government going to shut this down? I think that risk has been severely diminished. And then, is there going to be some flaw found in the Bitcoin protocol? I think that's been severely combed over at this point. We need to make sure we upgrade it to a post-quantum cryptography. But
Are elliptic curves already post-quantum or no?
They are theoretically, I believe. I don't.
No one really good to nail that
down. It's a little untested, but I believe there is a path where the Bitcoin core team and Ethereum and Solana, everyone, they're looking at proposals now to upgrade to even
definitely post-quantum.
Yes. So I think the list of kind of risks is getting diminished, and at the same time, the amount of demand, like the amount of institutional money just sitting on the sidelines waiting for this next bill to land, these are the big institutions I talk to, they're holding 1% of the portfolio in Bitcoin, and I'm like, what would it be to 5 to 10? And they say, regulatory clarity, that's it. So I think we'll continue to see huge inflows of capital. The ETFs have been huge.
You see the pattern? Wall Street, AI, big tech, politicians, they're all front-running the same outcome. Now let's talk nation states. Brazil just held its first strategic Bitcoin reserve hearing, and they're openly considering buying $19 billion worth of Bitcoin.
A dívida pública do Tesouro Nacional e do Ministério da Fazenda. Pedro Henrique Giocondo Guerra, chefe do Gabinete do Ministro do Desenvolvimento, Indústria, Comércio e Serviços. Luiz Guilherme Siciliano, chefe do Departamento de Reservas Internacionais do Banco Central do Brasil. Rubens Sadenberg, economista-chefe da Federação Brasileira de Bancos, FEBRABAN. Diego Colling, head da estratégia Bitcoin da empresa Melius. Júlia Rosin, coordenadora do grupo de trabalho de policy da AB Cripto, da Associação Brasileira de Criptoeconomia. E antes de passar às exposições, desejo informar as regras de condução dos trabalhos desta audiência pública. O convidado deverá limitar-se ao tema em debate e disporá de 10 minutos para sua apresentação, não podendo ser aparteado. Após as exposições, serão abertos os debates. Os deputados interessados...
So maybe ask yourself, if Brazil is talking about it publicly and another nation is already stacking in the shadows, how many other countries are doing this right now? Exactly. Sovereigns aren't stupid. They won't announce it until it's too late. We're about to bring it home, but before we do, look at our likes.
3 or 4 times, maybe. I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp, and head over to thebitcoinway.com to learn how to self-custody your Bitcoin like a sovereign individual. They'll walk you through multi-sig, privacy, and even help you move your coins off those clown platforms. No tech skills required. The team over at the Bitcoin Way has got you covered from start to finish. Don't be caught holding IOUs when Valhalla arrives. Schedule a free 30-minute consultation using that link in the show notes. And once you've secured your Bitcoin, here's how to make it work for you without selling a single sat. If you ever need to tap into your Bitcoin's value without selling it, boom, you're holding pristine collateral. And that's where Ledn comes in. Ledn has funded over $10 billion in Bitcoin-backed loans since 2018. No monthly payments, no penalties, just flexibility. You control your loan, you control your Bitcoin. Collateral is never lent out to generate interest. And every 6 months, proof of reserves. It's simple. If you need cash but don't want to sell your precious Bitcoin, Ledn has your back. Check out Ledn, Bitcoin-backed loans done right. Go to learn.ledn.io/simply and get 25 basis points off your first loan today.
If we get a 25 basis point, 1/4% rate cut, and then no talk of more rate cuts, does that matter to the market?
It does matter to the market, and here's why. Let's say that Powell comes out, not Friday, but Sep 17, Fed goes 25. He takes the podium at the press conference and says, well, look, we're not going to do this too many more times. Trust me. Nobody's that good a salesperson. The market's going to say, hey, guess what? Now we have an easing cycle. There are going to be more, 2, 3, 4 more rate cuts, whatever the number is. We in the market will price more of that. Bonds will run, equities do well. I don't think Powell can really put that genie back in the bottle. The Fed may turn out to only do one cut, but that's not the initial market move. It's a big rally.
Even the Fed is starting to catch on a little bit.
People use Bitcoin as a speculative asset, right? It's like gold. It's just like gold, only it's virtual. It's digital. People are not using it as a form of payment or as a store of value. It's highly volatile. It's not a competitor for the dollar. It's really a competitor for gold. You know, that's really how I think of it.
We are witnessing the Bitcoin standard being stitched into the fabric of the U.S. financial system right now. So tomorrow, Powell steps up at Jackson Hole with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He can hold, he can cut, he can bluff. But here's the truth. While Powell dithers, sovereigns are already stacking Bitcoin in secret, allegedly. This is how Bitcoin adoption happens. First the individuals, families, then the corporations, then the ETFs, and finally the nation states. Private equity giants are buying utilities. Typical BlackRock behavior. Governments are seizing money because they say it's not property. Nation states are stacking in the shadows. Families are stacking at the kitchen table, and everyday fiat buys you less. When the levee breaks, the bull run won't just be retail or Wall Street. It'll be sovereign, and you'll be standing front row. Standing because you sold those stupid chairs. And don't miss Mining Disrupt 2025, the biggest Bitcoin mining expo on Earth, November 11th through the 13th in Dallas, Texas. Meet the legends building the hash power revolution, sovereign mining, AI, and Bitcoin integration. This is where the next wave of Bitcoin history is being written. Grab your tickets today and use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off, and we'll see you at the news desk. Don't miss it. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp by sharing the Sound Money Gospel. And don't forget to set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin news delivered to you daily. Love you guys. Catch you next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.